Today, we're diving into a massive financial puzzle in Meghalaya. It's a story about a staggering amount of money that was supposed to be in the government's hands, but just wasn't. And it leaves us with a question mark that's worth more than 1,500 crore rupees.
But first, let me ask you something to really put this into perspective. What if, out of the blue, your boss told you they were slashing your salary in half? You'd have to totally rethink your spending, right? You couldn't just carry on as normal. Well, believe it or not, that's almost exactly what happened to the government of Meghalaya. And how they decided to handle it? Well, that's the whole story. So here's the number. For the financial year 2022-2023, the Comptroller and Auditor General, that's the CAG, found a revenue shortfall of 1,577 crore rupees. To put that in perspective, that's over half of the state's own potential tax revenue that was just gone. Poof, never collected. Now, what do we even mean by revenue shortfall? It's really important to get this right. This isn't because the economy tanked or people weren't making money. No, this is the money the government was legally supposed to get, taxes it was owed by law that it just flat out failed to collect. It's literally like leaving a huge pile of cash just sitting on the table and walking away. So you have to wonder, how does a gap this massive even happen? Well, it wasn't bad luck. It wasn't some unavoidable disaster. The CAG report points the finger squarely at problems inside the government itself. We're talking about things like administrative failures, maybe outdated systems, poor training, or, let's be honest, it could even point to corruption. And this wasn't some minor oversight in one obscure department. Nope. The failure was widespread, right in the areas that are supposed to be the government's bread and butter. We're talking huge gaps in collecting sales tax, excise tax from things like liquor, the tax you pay on your car or bike, and even royalties from all the mining. These are the absolute basics of a state's income. Okay, and this is where the story gets truly bizarre. So on one side, you've got all this free money, the taxes people and businesses were supposed to pay anyway, and on the other side, you've got expensive money, loans that you have to take from banks, which come with interest. So what did the government do? It basically ignored the free money it was owed and went out and got the expensive stuff instead. It makes no sense. And this decision kicks off a really damaging, vicious cycle. So step 1, you fail to collect the money you're owed. Step 2, you have to borrow money just to keep the lights on and pay the bills. Step 3, because that borrowed money is just filling a hole, there's nothing left for new projects, so public services like roads and schools start to suffer. And then the final kick, step 4, the taxpayers, that's you, end up paying the interest on that new debt. So here's the bottom line, and it's a tough one. The regular person on the street ends up paying for this not just once but twice. First, you pay through the loss of better services. Think about it. That's money that could have gone to better hospitals, safer roads, or improved schools. And then you have to pay all over again because your tax money is used to pay the interest on the loans the government took out to cover its own mistake. So when you look at all of this, it all boils down to one critical word: accountability. When you have a failure of this size, you have to start asking some pretty serious questions. And the first question is a simple one. Which departments were actually responsible? Where did this happen? Was it the tax department, the excise department, the mining officials? You can't fix a problem if you don't know exactly where the leak is. And that leads to the next, even more important question. For a shortfall of nearly 1,600 crore rupees, was anyone at all, held accountable? Did anyone get fired? Was there an investigation, or did everyone just shrug and move on? Which leaves us with the final, and I think most powerful, question of all. Why should the people of Meghalaya be forced to pay interest on loans simply because their government was either too lazy, too inefficient, or maybe even too corrupt to do its most basic job: collect the money it was already owed? That's the real question here.